Well, as you just heard, China has eased restrictions on Australian beef imports. 5 major Australian meatworks can now resume business with Beijing. The business in Queensland and New South Wales had been trading about $1 billion worth of beef when they were locked out during the trade war in 2020. The ABC's national rural reporter, Kath Sullivan, joins us now from Parliament House in Canberra. Good morning, Kath. Can you take us through exactly what's happened?
Yes, a very good morning to you as well, Kath. This is great news for Australia's red meat industry, learning overnight that Beijing has lifted suspensions that applied to 5 Australian meatworks. They were all producing beef in Queensland and northern New South Wales, and they'd all been locked out way back at the beginning of the trade war. Of course, we're also familiar with it now, but the red meat industry, along with barley, were some of the first commodities to be hit with trading suspensions, and this is certainly welcome news. Here's the Agriculture Minister, Murray Watt, with a little more detail this morning.
That is fantastic news for Australia's cattle producers, for our meat processing industry, for the workers in those industries, and of course for Australian exports. What we've worked out is that even so far over the last few months, with the different export bans that have been lifted by China, that has worked out to $3 billion in extra exports for Australia. So the work that we've done to stabilise our relationship with China is paying real dividends for our farmers, our processors.
We know that this is big business, Kath. What is the exact value of this to the Australian economy?
Well, 4 of these 5 exporters actually represented about a third of the trade in red meat exports to China at that time. And before these trade suspensions were imposed, we were selling about close to $3 billion worth of red meat to China. Now, these exporters have been able to sell their beef while locked out from China. They've been able to go to different markets, but they certainly haven't seen the high prices for their commodities that they were used to or had become accustomed to receiving from China. So it's really welcome news for the red meat industry, and hopefully, Kath, there'll be some good news to follow soon for the Australian lobster industry, which remains, I think, perhaps the only commodity that's still locked out as a result of this trade war.
Thanks so much, Kath.